So Marvel Studios right now is making a pretty big decision about not only certain projects, but simply how they want to move forward in the MCU, not only during Phase 6, but Phase 6 and beyond. Marvel and Disney have already told us a little bit about what their plans are, but a new report today tells us that they're making a pretty big decision on two different projects right now. And based on everything I've seen online, on X and Instagram, etc., everybody kind of has the same ideas on how they think Marvel should proceed forward with these two new projects. We also have a brand new Spider-Man plot synopsis released today that we'll go over in this video as well. Now, back in February, Deadline announced that Marvel paused development on a Nova, Strange Academy, and Terror Inc. TV series. At the time when they announced this, they mentioned what Marvel Television head Brad Winderbaum said, stating that Marvel's new approach to TV development is more like a traditional studio now, with many more projects being developed than will ultimately be made, and showrunners being brought in to oversee each project. Also, in a previous interview with Brandon Davis, Brad Winderbaum did say that Nova is going to be a show, but again, just because they're developing it doesn't mean that it'll make it to the screen. Well, according to a new report from Daniel RPK, Nova is indeed going to make it to the screen. The only question is, in what way? Because according to Daniel RPK, Marvel Studios still has plans to make the Nova project and the Strange Academy project as well. However, according to Daniel RPK in the same report, he claims that Marvel Studios is deciding whether to make Strange Academy and Nova as movies or Disney Plus shows. Now, you can go ahead and let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. The general consensus online so far has been that Nova should be a movie and Strange Academy should be a Disney Plus show. Now, we do have some information about what these shows are going to be about, and even a little twist. An X-Men twist. But beginning with Nova, we have heard that Nova's main villain is going to be Annihilus, one of Marvel's biggest villains ever. And while I don't argue that having more time to introduce Annihilus in a Disney Plus show might be beneficial, I would still rather him have a more cinematic debut, and I also would prefer Nova to get his own movie as well, especially since we've heard that Nova might go on to form the Annihilators. And there's also always the chance that Nova could take Star-Lord's place and be the new leader of a new Guardians of the Galaxy team. So it's very clear that Nova is going to be a really big player moving forward in the MCU, most likely not debuting until after Avengers Secret Wars, but since he is going to be such a major player, then based on the new plans that Marvel and Disney have themselves publicly stated, Nova should be a movie because they stated that they're only going to focus on basically not main characters of the overall arching story of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're saving those and those stories for the MCU films. They stated they're doing this because they don't want everybody to have to watch every Disney Plus show to know what's going on in the overall story of the Marvel movies in the MCU. So by their own logic of Marvel and Disney, based on what they said, Nova should be a movie because he's going to be a really big character in the MCU. And I really hope Annihilus isn't a one and done as well. He should be a big bad, and we've heard that Marvel Studios is basically going to explore three sides in the new Marvel Cinematic Universe after Secret Wars. That's the mutants, the cosmic side, and the supernatural side. Annihilus would be the big bad over the cosmic side. And then when it comes to the Strange Academy show, we pretty much know what it's going to be about. Wong training sorcerers or sorcerer apprentices. And it sounds like a very interesting project, one that I would definitely want to see. I would love to see how the sorcerers train in more detail than we got in the very first Doctor Strange movie. And we all know that Doctor Strange didn't exactly follow all of the rules to get to where he is. So a show showing us the actual course that the sorcerer apprentices have to go through to become sorcerers would be pretty cool, and that could go in the supernatural side of the upcoming new Marvel Cinematic Universe. But there is kind of a twist, like I mentioned. There was a report when these shows originally got announced to be delayed or canceled because it was unknown at the time. Insider Jeff Snyder came out and said that he hadn't actually heard anything about a Strange Academy show, but he heard something about an X Academy show. In the new X-Men comics, we basically were introduced to another group of new mutants. They were students that would eventually work their way up to become part of the main X-Men roster. This is essentially the same idea as a Strange Academy show, have students learn and then basically become real sorcerers or actual X-Men, probably setting up some future characters that are going to remain in the MCU. But what's interesting is that Jeff Snyder just got proven right on one of his big scoops with the Punisher being confirmed to appear in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And he's gotten a lot right in the past. He's gotten some wrong too, but a lot right recently. And speaking of Brand New Day, we'll get to that new synopsis in just a bit. But an X Academy show would actually make a lot of sense considering that we know Kevin Feige is going to be focusing on the mutants in Phase 7, or if they start everything over in Phase 1. And it sounds like the X-Men are already going to be established in the MCU when we get that first movie. Because it's confirmed, an X-Men movie is being created right now. We have our writer, Michael Leslie, and officially our director, Jake Schreier, who directed the Thunderbolts. So that movie is happening, and it's happening in 2028, right after Secret Wars. So right after Secret Wars, we go into a new universe where the mutants are a part of it with the Avengers, with the Fantastic Four. The mutants are going to be established via the X-Men movie. So moving forward, you could actually do an X Academy show and show us the mutants who are training to be a part of the X-Men team. And that would give us an even deeper dive into the X-Men's world. So I think that would really work as well. We'll have to wait and see what Marvel is actually developing. Perhaps they could be developing both. Either way, I think these Academy projects should be shows, and I think Nova should be a movie, but go ahead, let me know your thoughts. Now, moving on to Spider-Man Brand New Day and the new synopsis that we have today. This is coming from IMDb, and it states, after the world has forgotten his name, Peter Parker begins a new chapter in his life, balancing college classes, part-time work, and his responsibility as New York's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But when a mysterious force begins to unravel the city from the inside out, Peter finds himself caught between powerful enemies, old legacies, and unexpected allies. As shadows from the past creep into his present, he must redefine what it truly means to be a hero on his own. So that last part, I think people are really going to like, on his own. A lot of people have been really wanting a Spider-Man movie where Peter doesn't have a mentor and that he really is on his own. In Homecoming, he had Tony Stark. In Far From Home, he had Happy. And then in No Way Home, he had the other two Spider-Men, Tobey and Andrew. And May, R.I.P., can't forget her. Now, the old legacies part, I think that is referring to the Hulk. At this point in time, it's basically all but confirmed that the Hulk is going to be in the movie. And then when it says unexpected allies, I'm pretty sure that's the Punisher. Shadows from his past creep into the present. That makes me think of Doctor Strange's spell. But it also makes me think of Tony Stark. Perhaps a Doctor Doom reference here. However, this movie is coming out before Doomsday now, and it really does seem like Marvel Studios is saving the big Doom reveal for the actual Avengers Doomsday movie. So perhaps not. Now, when I hear about a mysterious force beginning to unravel the city from the inside out, I think back to Daredevil Born Again and Kingpin and everything that he's up to now, but I'm not really sure how much that is going to connect to Spider-Man Brand New Day. I wanted to, but Vincent D'Onofrio, the actor who plays Kingpin, said that he doesn't think that his character can appear in a movie due to a Sony rights issue. Now, don't get me wrong, they could always work out a new deal to have Kingpin appear in the MCU, just like they did with Spider-Man. And he very well could be saying that to throw us off, but we haven't really heard anything about Kingpin appearing in the movie yet. And we've heard so much about this movie at this point in time. But that doesn't mean that Kingpin can't hire other villains and all of these villains appear and take on Spider-Man. Also, at some point in time, it definitely seems like Spider-Man is going to be fighting with the Hulk, with the Punisher on his side. But hopefully by the end, we get a Hulk, Spider-Man, Punisher team up, and they take down some pretty big villains. But go ahead and let me know your thoughts about this synopsis in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel news, rumors, or leaks. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.